Hey, this is Chris with Ugly.Teacher.Hiking. What stove fits in a little satchel? Yeah, I said satchel. Let's talk about it. Ugly.Teacher.Hiking. I hike it so you don't have to. Hey, today we're looking at the BRS-3000T stove ultralight titanium backpacking stove. That's a mouthful. This is a great little stove. I've had this for 4 years. I bought this 4 years ago. I really had reservations about buying it because this little stove right here was only $16.90. That's $16.90. Now, in my mind, how can a stove for $16 be as good as the MSRs and the Snow Peaks and all the other great brands that are out there? So let's just take a look at this. You get the little package, the little satchel. You get the stove itself. Plop that down. And inside here, you also get the O-rings. I'm going to talk a little more about that later on, but you get 2 sets of O-rings, or 2 O-rings itself, and there's also one within the stove. All right, let's put this off to the side. Let's look at the stove itself. How crazy is this? Look how small this thing is. This thing is teeny tiny. You cannot get a smaller stove than this, and probably cheaper of the same quality. So I've used this, I couldn't even tell you how many times. I've used this quite a bit over the years. It is awesome. I love this little stove. To open it, you flip it over, you let the legs fall down, let that plop up, and then you just lock these into place. And then this goes on top of your canister stove, or your canister. This is a great looking little stove. It weighs almost nothing. We'll go through the dimensions of weight and the approximate dimensions, all that in a little bit. But this is a great little stove, especially for the money. You can't beat the money on this. So you can see the little gasket in there. The gasket's already in there. So we're going to start off with weight when we're looking at the BRS-3000T stove. It's still crazy how little this thing is. But we're going to look at the weight. On the website, it says it's 26 grams or 0.92 ounces. So we're going to give that a try, see what it looks like. The stove itself, 0.9 ounces. Now, it doesn't go out to the hundredths place value, so we're just going to have to rely that it's pretty much the same. And let's add the little packaging, the satchel that it comes with. And that takes us to 1 full ounce. 1 full ounce. I wouldn't keep them separate. I would definitely make sure you have this, because this thing is so dang small, you will misplace this very easily. So just keep that. You might even want to put a little rat tail on here or something, just so it's more visible. Something that won't melt. All right, let's get into the measurements. Let's see what the measurements look like. All right, so for our dimensions, we're not going to use the digital one, the digital ruler that I have. It's a little too difficult to do with stuff like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a regular ruler. So from that point to that point, it's about 7 centimeters. So from that tip to that tip, doesn't really help us on anything. But if we look from the bottom, this is where the top of the gas canister is going to be. So just shy of 6 centimeters, just shy of 6 centimeters. And then when we plop it back on the gas stove, let's do that, show how easy it is. Now, always be aware, there is a gasket in here, and if that gasket's not seated correctly, you will lose gas. So if we go from here to the top, that is about 12 centimeters, about. So this is really teeny tiny. If I basically compare it to my Toaks 550 ultra light, this is the size. This is just barely taller. Now this is canister I have on here is the smallest canister. It is a 3.5 ounce canister, 4-season, propane, isobutane, butane mix. Let's readjust this a little. All right, so let's take a look at this. I plop this on top here. It rests on there nicely. The cup just goes over slightly off the sides. It has a little lip. Just be aware. It's a little slippery. It's a little slippery. But just put it on there, make sure it's on level ground. You should be fine. Biggest thing for these stoves, make sure they're on level ground. You won't have to worry about them falling over. So I would use my Vargo Bot 700 on the top here. This is the cup I'm using now. If it's on perfect, on the bottom it's flat, so there's no lip. So I just got to make sure it's on level ground and it's fine. Now, I was looking on Amazon doing my research before I began this, and I saw one give a bad review on this on Amazon, and you could see that the gas was coming out here, and when they lit it, it was sputtering out here. As far as I would think, it was the gasket. They either lost the gasket or the gasket was not seated correctly. So always make sure you check your gaskets. Make certain you bring the additional gaskets, because gaskets fall out, they just fall apart with age, or something could happen to it. So always bring the gaskets with you. This is such a cool little stove. Well, let's go outside and give it a try with some water and see how it works. I would suspect this is pretty quick. They say you can boil water within, what do they say, 2 minutes, 58 seconds, basically 3 minutes. 2 cups. I think that's about right when I've used this. So we'll give it a try, see if we're right, wrong, whatever. See you outside. So let's take a look at this. I have the BRS stove in my Vargo Bot 700. I haven't done a review on this, but I probably have to. It's a great little camping cup. So let's get this out. Lid, I can put my fuel canister. I got some Splenda. I got my instant coffee in here. The BRS stove. A lot of other little goodies. I got my mini Bic. My spork. I also have 2 things of spice. Old Bay and Chipotle. Let's put that back there. A pot grabber. My wiper. And my hot lips. So let's set this up. Put this aside for now. So I have a full canister of fuel here. It's an MSR, 8 fluid ounces. Let's take our BRS stove out. Just be conscious when you take it out. Check to make sure the gasket's in there. It's seated correctly. Hold it upside down. Let it flippity floppity down. And then push them into place. So let's put the canister and the burner together. Get it started. Seat it flat. You should hear a little putter of gas. That's typical. I don't hear anything else, so we're good to go. So we're going to put our 2 cups of water in here. Had it pre-measured out. We're going to put our probe in. Now keep in mind, I always keep the temperature over here on the side, so you should be able to see the beginning temperature of the water as well as we're boiling it. I'll place the lid on top. Remember, with this stove, you got to place it upside down. You can't screw it on or it turns into a pressure bomb. So I'm just going to turn on slowly. You can hear it sputtering. We'll put that up there. And let it get going. Now I do hear some sputtering. That could be the impurities from the fuel canister itself. It's a rather old fuel canister, a couple years. Once the impurities burn off, it should be good. We're at 2 minutes 41 seconds, 145 degrees. This thing is cruising along so much quicker than alcohol stoves. We're at 3 minutes. Now keep in mind, I don't have it all the way open for the fuel. I don't know if you can hear this on the volume, but it's pretty loud. Alcohol stoves are definitely a lot quieter. I don't know if you can hear, but it sounds like it's burning a little smoother than it was, no sputtering. So I think there were impurities either on the stove itself or from the gas. Like I said, I've had the stove for 4 years at this point. So we're at a boil at 4 minutes 45 seconds. 4 minutes 45 seconds. A good rolling boil. All right, so we just got finished with the boil test. BRS stove is a win. If you don't have one, buy it. It's under $20. It's well worth the money. Even if you're not the biggest fan of it, it was a good investment. It's always a good backup stove, or your EDC or bug out bag, that is, would be perfect for that with your alcohol stoves as well. So this is a great stove. Definitely buy it. Loud. but quick, light and small. Fits perfectly in my Vargo Bot. So, would I buy it? Again, yes. Did I make fun of one of my friends for buying it because it was so cheap, figured it wouldn't work? Yes, that was a couple years ago. Eddie, sorry about that one. So let's give this a try and see if it made the perfect cup of instant coffee. Today we're on the Dormans again. Dormans. It's out of Nairobi, Kenya. Now, as usual, I love getting the comments I've been getting. I love the ideas, love the suggestions. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down in the comment area. I try to get to as many of them as possible, and I try to respond to as many as possible. So let's see if this made the perfect cup of coffee. This is good coffee. Get a chance to get it. It's Dormans. Beautiful. It's out of Kenya, Nairobi. So made a great cup of coffee. BRS for the win. So remember, keep in mind, I do this so you don't have to. I review it so you don't have to. But definitely give it a try. Give the BRS-3000T a try. And I hope you have a great day. Remember, I do it so you don't have to. Have a great day now.